program called Access. So I welcome Ameen Bhai for the session and I request him to take over. So just a few general instructions before we start off. I request all the participants to keep yourself on mute while the session is going on. And if you have any questions, please note them down. At the end of the presentation, Ameen Bhai will be open for all the questions, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Am I audible, Bhai Abdullah?
Yes, Ameen Bhai, you're pretty much audible. You can start off.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thank you, MFIRD, for giving me an opportunity to share my stuff with you all. MashaAllah. So let us start with the session. I don't have some problem. I'm not able to go back to the previous slides. Anyhow, we shall continue from here itself. So, say basically UI UX design. It is one of the most sorted out technologies in present day world, and so each and why the design is needed. See, if you just observe and see, what I believe is Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is the first designer. What I always say. See, he's created the whole world, and in absolute balance and its absolute beauty, he has created the whole world. If you can see the color palettes, what he has used, and the designs, what he has used, mashallah, and the whole engineering, the whole technology. I'm basically from engineering background. The whole engineering is inspired by the nature itself. The whole engineering, each and everything what a human being has feel proud of, that he has invented it, but actually it has been inspired by one or the other creations what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already created. So there goes the design aspects also. Okay, you just see, take the leaf. Each and every leaf is of a different design, and you can see the color of a leaf is green, but each and every leaf will have, if you just keenly observe, they will be having a different shades of green color. You just go with a banana tree or an apple, or you go for a mango tree, you can see that, if you keenly observe, each and every, in green itself there are different shades what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already used. And the user experience what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, see, pumpkin, because of its bigger size, pumpkin never, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a, there is no pumpkin tree for that. There may be a possibility that if pumpkin grows on a bigger tree with a higher altitude, it may fall on anybody else, and it may harm. So that is the level of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation, what it is. So a mango has a high tree is different structure. A banana tree structure is different. A lemon is different. So based on the user requisite, how the human beings will utilize his nature, and with that perspective, he has created the whole world. We can spend hours together by discussing just by nature, and that is what he also says in Quran also. You just observe. When we observe, things are really exuberant, what I can say. So no one can match up with the level of design what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said. And then comes the human revolution, and then the technology evolves. So now it's an era of IT, information era is there. So a lot of apps are there, a lot of websites are there. So this also require a good human experience, good user experience. That is to the UI UX design field is to provide the human beings what they require, what to make their user experience as simple as possible, and to attract them as far, as much as possible. So let us start with, while the slides will go on so what is a design? Basically a design is a process of envisioning and planning the creation of the objects, interactive systems like building vehicles, etc. It is user centered. As I told you, users are the most important part. So what the as the user, I'm this being a user, a designer has to see that what my requisites are, what my requirements are. See, being a designer, I may feel that okay, this is an appropriate something which is appropriate, and I have to add it. But as far as a designer is concerned, he may not be able to use it. For example, if I am making an app for old age people, if I'm making an app for old age people, in present Indian scenario, the people who are above, for example, there is a app called age bold app is there, that basically in US. So that is made for people who are above 50 years of age. What will happen if I introduce that type of similar app in India? If I use complex jargons, complex terms, and what will happen? So a person's Indian literacy rate is very less. If I use heavy jargons, and the interaction is too complex, only an engineer can solve it. I know, for example, if I just put a coding system in that, make a code snippet and then go to the another screen, whatever it is there. So if I design it in a complex way, maybe it is possible that the users will not use it, and that particular app will be thrown into the trash. So no one will be using it. So what I have to see is, who are my target audiences, and why will be they in need of using my application, and what is the best possible way that I can make them comfortable using my app. That is what all user center process is. That is why design thinking process is. Before making an app, you have to think about what is who are my target audiences, and what do they actually need, and how am I going to make them comfortable using my app. That is what whole design process is. It is all, as they say, it is all about creating the solutions. So so best possible solution, is the most important thing in design process. I don't know, some problem is that I'm unable to. Sorry, I'm unable to move my screen itself. Yeah, yeah. So next comes the user experience. So user experience. So there, in basically design, we have got two parts. One is UX and another is UI. So user experience is the most important part. So this is how they say how the user will interact with the interface. So that is the user experience. So, and how the interface looks, that is UI, but how the interaction will go, what should be in the home screen and what should be in the next screens and all, that will be decided by a user experience designer. A user may feel delighted or frustrated. That is, if I use an app, there's only two possibilities. I may feel very happy, okay, it's really a good app, or else I may feel frustrated, okay boss, this will not do, I'm not going to use this anymore. So either a user may get delighted or he may get frustrated by using the application. That everything is controlled by user designer. If a user designer is amateur and he doesn't think about the customer needs and a user need, so then what will happen, it will lead to a worst of all ux design. So so UI UX designer is the whole and sole responsible person for the making your app interactive, and UI designer is the one who is responsible to make your app attractive. Okay, interactive part is left to UX designer, and attractive part is left to UI designer. So UI designer starts working from the entice to the till the analysis to the exit, till the exit of the app. So all the complete stages from the beginning till the end, the UI UX designer has to be there, and he has to look through the problem. We will discuss it later on how the stages will go on. So the role of UX designer. So basic and foremost role, as I already said, it has to be, it is the finding the solution of the problem. And it is not like that the customer came and just, okay, I'm a person, I'm running a service company, and just do it. You make a website for me. You make a app for me. So it will not do. So what we have to think, being a UX designer, is, so front person is a customer, he is in need of an app. Why does he need the app? You have to counsel them. These are the stages. As soon as they come, okay, you give the requirements, you start making the app. This will not do. So what is his actual problem? What is his actual problem? Why he wants to attain, how will be able to help him to attain that particular goal? So if he already has a website, why it is not hitting properly? What is the drawback behind that? Or who are the competitors? And that is a major one of the important surveys what UX designer has to do. For example, a customer came, he wants to make a social media app. So if he wants to make a social media app, he has to see his competitor. There is Facebook, there is Instagram, and LinkedIn. These are all social media platforms. So why a person who already there are social media apps and he wants to create a social media app? What different thing he is going to provide to the customers so that he needs the this particular app? So those things has to be taken from the customer. The problem has to be understood by the UX designer, and the solution has to be provided by the UX designer itself. So a lot of thinking process goes on with the UX designer. So he has to find the target audience, do the research, appropriate research has to be done. Okay, the survey has to be conducted, uh, and he has to create the persona. What is persona? We will discuss it later on. Persona is I'll discuss it later on. Empathy map. Empathization is a most essential aspect of a UX designer. He should have an empathy towards the customers, towards the consumers. So what they need, what they actually need, what is their actually isn't it's not just like that. I have designed the app, just put it in the code, do the coding and put it in the market. But there are a lot of apps, lacks together apps, just merely wasted in a play store. You just can see only 100. There are many apps who only download rate is 100. If you can just go, what is the need? Why others have not used it? Because there was no proper UX, there was no proper they didn't attracted the customer because they were not needed at all. So this is a major problem with that. They were not needed. Then also the people have made them and put it on Play Store. Nobody is going to use it. The UX, the designer has to make a user journey map. User journey map is something, from the beginning till the end. You have to put yourself in the shoes of a user, and you have to design sketch out everything, that what are the different stages, how a user will go throughout my app, to make it as simple as journey as simple as possible. See, a survey was conducted, and it shows that the people are more interested in simple design rather than complex designs. So people want everything to go fast, and if you make too much complex, too much
Marana, Marana.
complex designs and all, nobody will be willing to use it, because it is too much complex. It has got a lot of jargon. So no, I'm not going to use it. Let me see which is much simpler than this. So that is the thing. So user journey map. I'm a designer, so I feel according to my ease, my level. Accordingly, if I design it, then it will be of no use. So I have to put myself in the shoes of the customer, and I have to just take a customer throughout the journey of my app. And I have to see that, being I have to just presume that I'm a layman. I don't know anything about this app. I'm newly using this app, so these are the stages what will go. So that job is also of a UX designer. Storyboards I have to make. We will discuss what the storyboard is. Wireframes. Wireframes are nothing but a skeleton of your design. So step towards the UX design after creating implementation part is nothing but wireframes. In wireframes we have two different types. One is low fidelity, one is high fidelity. Low fidelity one is one which you take pen and pencil and just sketch it out. That is called as low fidelity wireframes. High fidelity is use any of the UI tools and design it in the using UI tools. Either will it be Adobe XD or Figma or Sketch or InVision Studio, any of the whichever is for you, we can design it. So that those are wireframes. And usability testing. Once the design is finished, before implementing, we have to go through different steps of usability testing. The testing job is also of designer itself. Design the skeleton or the app of app and website. As I already told you, the whole skeleton will be built up by a UX designer. So deciding the functionality and features of the app, what features has to be added in the app, what feature has not to be added in the app, how my app is going to, or a website is going to function. These all things, the whole job to think about it and to put it on work, the job is of a UX designer. UX designer has to work throughout. He has to work with UI designer. He has to work with product design, product manager. Throughout the journey till the launch of the app, the role of UX designer will be there. But on the contrary, UI designer has got that not that much responsibility. But to to have UI designer is responsible to make the app beautiful. Look and feel of the app. What see. Maybe my UX is very good, very beautiful, and I have arranged everything in a very good manner. If it doesn't have elegancy, no one will be liking it. If I use colors, abrupt colors, which will not be like, so normally we say that, color has to be selected based on the app, what your concept of the app, we say. So if food delivery apps are there, normally if you can see, if we have food delivery apps and all, we normally go with red color, because red color represents blood and all, and it directly depicts the food. So normally if you just see Swiggy, they use pitch orange color, which is also a reflection of red. And if you go Zomato, they using red color. So if I use red color dark, the Zomato red color, if I use in travel log, it will look very odd. So the look and feel of the app is my responsibility, being an UI designer. So what type of visuals I'm using, what type of typography, typography is very much important. What type of fonts you are using. We have got two different. Normally, we have got two different fonts. One is sans serif. One is just sans without serif. So serifs are, as you can see, my UI what I have used here. If you can see the edges, these are called as serifs. So if these type of fonts are there, they are serifs. And the user interface, what I have written in below, these are sans without serifs. So when to use serif, when to not use serif, that is all the job of a UI designer. What appropriate color palettes has to be used, what are the graphics has to be used, layouts, everything is the responsibility of a UI designer. What is the role of his? Now see, as you can see the screens here. So all these screens, what color, what icons has to be used. Iconography is another one major important aspect. So see how suddenly he has used icons here: flight and hotel. So currently he is checking out flight has been highlighted. He is not checking flight, that's why the hotel part is not highlighted. So what icon has to be used and how it has to be used. Here different icons are there: icon for the location, icon for the calendar. See, all these icons will be designed by the UI designer itself. How the screen has to look and interactions. If I press this round trip button, what will happen? If I click one way button, what will happen? If I click multi-city button, what will happen? So all these things, it will be designed by this UI designer itself. The shape of the button, it has to be rounded off, or just a rectangular shape has to be used. So all these things will be done by UI designer itself. As you can see, there is a logo here. I think it's the Lufthansa Airlines logo. So, so these logos will also be designed by UI designer. So all these, if I want to use a shadow, how much shadow has to be used? What are the cards? All these things will be used by, has to be done by UI designer. Basically, to beautify your app and make it eye catching, that is the responsibility of a UI designer. So difference between UI UX designer, see, they both go hand in hand. Without UX designer, UI designer cannot do anything. And without UI designer, all the user research will be in vain. So they both go with hand in hand. And India normally in Europe and all, what we have seen is they have got separate UX team and separate UI team. But in India, normally only in big companies and all, MNCs and all, they have this practice. But oftenly, what they hire is both no, a single person for both UX and UI, which will be a quite a tedious part anyways, but it will not be that much also. So basically UX designer, he is responsible for user research, research analysis, design ideation and execution. So all the research, about the product. If I'm going to launch a product, so appropriate research has to be taken up with by the user research itself. So here, product design team, product management team will also take part along with the UX team. So he has to work along with them and he has to do the complete research, primary research and desktop and competitive research, everything prior to the the research has to be done prior to the designing and post designing also. So so normally like beta test, what we say, in once you launch an app, you release a beta version so that the customers and you can use it and give the feedbacks. So after the feedback, there will be changes in the app. When there will be changes in the app, again the UX designer has to sit, put his mind on it, and he has to do the necessary changes. And those necessary changes has to be given to the UI designer, and UI designer has to make appropriate changes in the design layouts and all, and then given to the development team. So research analysis, uh, as I said, insights and findings, customer journey map, persona, empathy map, site maps, task flows, user flows, all these responsibilities of UX designer. Ideation sketches, wireframes, prototypes. I'll discuss what prototypes are in future in my further slides. User testing, design iterations, and all these things UX designer only, as also with the execution part. So coordination with stakeholders. So in coordination with stakeholders, the product manager team management team will also be there with you. So transition to UI design, obviously a UX designer has to explain everything to the UI designer and collaborate with him to for the smooth flow of the uh, design. So UI designer has not that much responsibility as compared to UX designer, because here a lot of thinking is required. But here only I got to worry about how I have to beautify my um, design. That's it. So here knowledge transfer, UI designer responsibilities, interface design, design specifications, and execution. So here in interface design, knowledge transfer on wireframes. So this he has to take it from UX designer. He has to see how the look and feel of the design is, branding and guidelines. So guidelines. Apple guidelines are different, and Android guidelines are different. So when I design an app, I have to consider both. When I design Apple, I have to see that what are Apple guidelines, and I have to use only those specifications. When I go for Android, I have to see for Android specification, material design, what we say. So I have to go for material design specification. I have to take use only those specification in my design. So when I design, it is not like that. I design one page, put it on either put it on Android or put it on a Mac. It will not go like that. When I sit to design an app, I have to design iOS separately and Android separately. Earlier, Windows was also there, but the Windows specification are also different. But nowadays, nobody is using Windows phones that much, so it has become obsolete. Better good for designers only. So only two different designs has to be done. And when we sit for website, so they will be having three different types. One is desktop version. We call responsiveness should be there. Desktop version is separate, tab version is separate, and mobile version is separate. So when I sit to design, I have to design for desktop as well as for tablet and as well as for mobile version. So these thing guidelines and brandings has to be taken care of. Mood boards are there. Mood boards are something, what I can say. So I want to design an app. So I'll go to different search engines. I'll download what are the other apps. For example, food delivery app I want to make. So what I'll be doing is I'll just download all the Swiggy screens and all the Zomato screens and what else Food Panda screens and all, and put it in my mood board. So by seeing that mood board will be the reference what they have not done that they have to do. So because of the, to just distinguish myself from the others, that is a very important part. So of a UI designer. So I have to make an app which should not be similar to the other app. Just now, a few months back, you might have seen everybody is using Zoom. Even now, we are using Zoom. Geo has launched their app meeting app, and the user interface was not similar. It was a replica of Zoom. So a lot of criticism was also done on it. It was a replica. I just forgot to take the download the photo of it. But if you just go and see the if you open a Zoom app and if you open a Geo Meet app, both you will not bifurcate between them. Same colors, same icon, same user experience, same user interface. They have identically copied everything. So that thing should not happen. Being a designer, it's really a bad remark. And the another thing is they may sue you also. So it will be a financial crisis under the circumstances. So what being a UI designer, mood boards are important so that I have to already I should be prepared that I should design use such colors which are distinguished from others. I have to use such buttons which will not look similar to the others. Icons icons should be separate. All these things, this is a job of a interface, UI designer. UI prototyping is also one of the important part. This is also left with UI designer as well as UX designer. So both of them you have to sit together to make a prototype. What is a prototype? Prototype is basically when you design, you have to virtually you have to make that app working. It is not like that, just uh, I may give you, if time permits, I will show you an example also how prototyping works. So all these job, all the visuals, icon, illustrations, all this job is left with the UI designer. So as we can see, this is the output of a UX designer. The whole skeleton will be bent, but to beautify it, to make it lively and appealing and approachable and likable, that job is left with the UI designer. See, this is a showroom of H&M. Many of you might have gone. This is a very good example of a UX and UI design. See, ultimately, my idea is to buy a bunch of clothes. So clothes are available in the market, and I may have gone. So the arrangement, what they have done. See, ethnic dresses are separate, and Western dresses are separate. Ladies section is separate. Gents section is separate, and baby section is separate. And in that also, pants are somewhere else. Socks section is separate. So this is a good UX. It will increase the UX designer. A person when it enters the shop, if I am going into the shop, I need not search everywhere where I have to purchase a pant, where the pants are, where the jeans are, and I know gent section is separate. I'll directly go to the gent section and I'll start searching. What pant I color pant I need, and so that is the most important. That is best UX. And UI part, all the interior designing what they have done to beautify the app. All the mannequins are there, and the stands are there. See, a single color they have used, white color they have used throughout, it beautifies the structure very, coloring and the lighting and all those things, the way of presentation, All these are the best UIs. So both with the help of UX and UI, you can beautify the app or a website, and also you can make a user experience as simple as possible. When a person enters your website, he should not search, okay, where this might be and where that might be. So yesterday I was just talking to my friend. So he is a digital marketing expert. So what he said was, you make a website. I can make it. Whenever anybody searches for your UI UX designer, your website may come at front. But if the person enters the website, and by just seeing the front page, if he leaves it, it will count as one bounce, and if the bounce rate increases, your value goes down. So what is the idea of a digital marketing? Once the person comes into your website, he should be keen enough to know that what is inside the website. He should search multiple pages. So, okay, if I okay, this front page is providing this much. If I enter the, I may get more if I search this website further. That should be the whole idea of a customer. This is how you have to design. And if you have the designer, the UX and UI designer is responsible for making that experience beautiful and elegant and happening. So I hope you have understood. So basic concepts are there. As I've told you, at the end of the day, no, we have to see that it should be in a human-centered design. So as earlier also I gave an example. Okay, I should not use so complex things that no one can understand. So what I have to keep in mind is this app is made for human beings, and human beings are the one who are to use it. So based on that, I have to design my stuff. So empathy. There are a few steps to be considered. Few things to be considered here. One is first is empathy. Empathy is learning about your audience, what they actually need. Second one is defining. Define. How do you define? You have to question. A UX designer has to question the both the vendor as well as the customers. So he has to search for the potential customer. He has to do the survey. He has to put forth the question. Yeah, to the vendor, he has to ask: You are making this app. Why are you making this app? What is the need of making this app? And by making this app, how will it be helpful for your business? And you have to ask the customers: Will you be able to use this app? Are you actually in need in this type of app? If these features are added in this app, will you use it, or you want something else? So all those questions has to be put forth by UX designer, and he has to take up the questions, and based on the questions and the service what he has got, he has to uh, chalk it out, and he has to design accordingly. After defining, he has to ideate the whole process. By brainstorming sessions will be there with the teammates, based on brainstorming sessions with the vendors, brainstorming sessions with the customers, and by iterative ideation process, he has to ideate and design one particular stuff. Then after the designing, he has to prototype it. Okay, how my prototype is nothing but to show the customer how the design of the app or a website actually works. And last is testing. So testing, and once the app is done, so you have to test it. You have to give it to the customers, and you have to test it. And based on their requirement, again, if there are changes, again the cycle, the test is again linked with empathy, which will be again linked with design and all. So this is an iterative process. So at the end of the day, what I have to think is user centered. As I told you, okay, human centered is very fine, but actually I have to go with user centered. As I already gave you the example of age bold. Age bold is basically, as the name itself suggests, it's an US based product. It is targeted for old age people for their ailments and all. So if I'm targeting old age people, what are the requisites? Maybe I have to increase the font, because after 40, 50 years the vision will get despaired. So I have to use bigger font. Maybe I have to use simple colors. No, I cannot use sharp colors when I'm designing for old age people, because sharp colors will, the contrasting will be there. I should not use much contrasting colors. Use simple colors, simple designs. Make it as simple as all those things has to be considered. Keeping myself in their shoes. If I'm making an app for children, so I have to see that what is their likability. Accordingly, I have to select it. So that thing is user centered. Human centered is one part. First step, beyond the human centered design, it is user centered design. Targeted audience. Who are your targeted audience? And then you target them, and you based on their requisites, I have to design a particular app or a website. So user centered design is a process that brings the user's need into consideration from the beginning of the project. That is what I said. User, who are my target audiences are there? What is their requisite? Based on that, I have to design it. So there's a very simple and basic difference. There's not much difference, I can say. So user centered and human centered design. So user centered design is all ideate, design, build. Okay, design, ideate, observe, evaluate, and build. So human centered is define, empathize, test, prototyping, and ideation. These are the few factors. They are almost help one another. Human centered is putting human interest into consideration. Design centered is putting user centered design is putting user interest into consideration. So 6 core principles of user experiences are there. So understanding what is user research. User research is all about understanding the people who use a product or system through observation. Okay, so I have to do this research. I have to interview the people, and then I have to all ideate the process, do the complete research, and final research findings I have to submit. Okay, if based on these findings, if we make our product, it will may become a success. Then next is content strategy, planning for creation, delivery, and governance of useful usable content. So all the content strategy, how much, see, I have made an app, I have added all details in it. So it will look awkward. It will really look awkward. Nobody has got time to read that much. So how much better matter has to be added, how much content has to be added. So that much, as less words as possible. If you go with Apple website, if you just check their website, you can hardly find any word, sentences or any paragraphs. You can hardly find big paragraphs in them. There are no the user experience. I actually prefer everybody who are doing UX design. I refer them to first go to Apple website and just check their website, how beautifully they have designed. Next is information architecture. Information architecture is very important for any app. So it gives you the complete idea of how a product will be used. So from the login till the exit of the app, complete flowchart will be made in information architecture. It's a completely a different, what I can say is UX design is a field, and information architecture is a one of the vast fields in UX design. Okay, so identifying and organizing information within a product or a system in a purposeful and meaningful way. So it's a very big task, I can say, and very important. Without information architecture, so it's something like you can see when you do programming, you write an algorithm or a flow chart. So it is something like an algorithm and a flow chart for a designer. So if I am stuck in any of the code, if I just see the flow chart, I can understand, okay, how the flow is going on, and I can attain that particular program easily. So the whole structure has been provided using information architecture. The next is interaction design, designing the interactive behaviors of a product or a system with a specific focus on their use. So this job is whole and solely of a UI designer. So how the interaction has to be made. And the next part, as you see, visual design and interaction design, these are all based on aesthetics and how beautiful and how to place everything, how the button should look, all those things. If I just see, I should feel happy by seeing. You just see, if I entered my room, I opened my almirah, and all my clothes are just there without not even folded properly. So I feel it awkward. Instead, if I open an almirah and all my clothes are organized, well, ironed and all, so I feel happy to see that okay, everything is organized and whatever I need I can take it out easily. So that is the thing. Visually, if anybody opens my website or an app, he should feel happy about saying okay, so this app, and he should feel that okay, they are providing me something. So basic idea is not only just to show that my app looks beautiful, but the another concept, another thing what customer has to see that okay, I am going to get something out of it. This is the job of a UI and UX designer. So he should feel that okay, once I have uh, come here, I am going to get something. Like you go with Flipkart, you enter Flipkart, by the aesthetic itself you can see that okay, I can get what I require. All I have got to do is do some search. But I know I want headphones. You put it Bluetooth headphones. I'll definitely get some deals out of it. So this is a general idea of people using Flipkart and all. So that is the thing. So the person once he enters, he should feel that I am definitely going to get something out of it. Usability evaluation. So whether my user experience, measuring the quality of user experience when interacting with the product or a system. You have designed it, you have launched it, and now you have to do the survey. You have to see the how the usability evaluation has to be done, how the users are using it, are they happy about it, are they not happy about it. And they may be moderate, average. They may feel okay, this is app is good, but these things has to be changed. All take all those things into consideration, redesign everything. These are the six core user experience principles. So the first step of it is see as a persona. A persona is a user archetype you can use to help guide decisions about product features, navigation, interaction, and even visual design. This was a definition given by Kim Goodwin and Cooper. They are very famous authors of user design books. See, this is persona. This is how a persona looks like. So, how a persona is built. Before that, I can see this woman is someone called as Susan Johnson. So, her age is so and so, occupation, status, location, and that will be taken. And what is the motivations? What is her personality? Is she an extrovert or introvert? And is she sensible, or she just take decisions on her intuitiveness, thinking? She takes the decisions by thinking or by just a feel. Just she is very judging or perceiving. Anyone can perceive her easily. So all those things can be taken while interview. These things will be taken by a UX designer so that you can see that whether they are interested in particular product or not. Before doing launching a product, this persona will be done. How the persona will be done? Either by giving a survey forms and a questionnaires, or by directly interacting with them. Okay, so normally I prefer direct interactions. So normally whatever personas I have built it up, I do it by one to one talk itself. So what are the goals, what are by using an app, what does she want, and what are the frustrations what she has got by using other similar kind of apps, and how we can attend it. So all those data can be taken up in persona. So persona, if once a persona is built, so it will be easier for the UX designer to move further based on the, it's basically a feedback process. Before no feedback, not it's not a feedback, we can say it's we can say it as a survey process. So before putting the app, you just when the concept comes, before making the wireframes even, when the concept comes to you, okay, I want this type of an app or a website. So we have to do a persona interviews and all, and we have to take these interviews and we have to put it on this type of structure, so that it will be easier for us to move forward based on their, it's basically taking requisites from the customers itself. So based on their requisites, so we will be able to design our product in a better manner. Next is empathy map. So empathy map revolves in four things. What the customer says, what the customer thinks, what the customer feels, and what the customer does. This is also done by survey itself and by interviews itself. So, for example, this example what we have taken is of a Jamie. Jamie wants to buy a TV. So, what does she says? I was expecting something different. What do you think? Where should I start? What brand should I like? What size is best? What something I want something reliable. These are the when a customer wants to start and wants to purchase. These are the things which comes to their mind. What she thinks, she says to other people. What she thinks, why is this so hard? What is why should I want something awesome. Too many acronyms are there. No, I cannot do that. What is best for me? She will be thinking. So these are the confusions. What will be her in mind? Same goes with apps also and websites also. Why should I buy? Well, should I use this website or not? Should I use this app or not? So these things comes in customers' mind. Or do they feel? She may feel anxious or excited, unsure who to trust, overwhelmed. Should I? So this is how they feel. And what they does, they check the website, list the pros and cons, make small decision, more research, compares the product, asks friends, observes in store, postpone big decisions. So this is how they do. So if they want something, if a customer wants something, they say to the other people, they think, they feel, and ultimately what they do is they do the research, they check the different websites. Once they go to their website, they should not leave the website. That is your job. So this empathy maps will help the designer to make a better user experience. This is also done with the survey itself. Next is storyboards. So this is a simple example of Zomato Gold membership storyboard. Storyboard is just a sketches what a designer has to do. For example, here a person is confused that whether I have to go for Zomato Gold membership or not. So he asks, Tim is 25 years, so he makes a story. It's a designer. It's a what is this? This is purely illusional. A designer has to make this story by himself and just put it on a board so that if a customer comes and sees my research, so he can feel happy about and he can understand the basic concept of my app through this particular storyboard. So here a simple task I have taken. I want whether I have to get a gold membership or not. So I narrate the story and put it in the sketches. Tim is 25 years old and likes going out with his friends to various restaurants in the city. He discovers about Zomato Gold membership through Zomato app. He compares all the plans and decides which one is best for him. He buys Zomato Gold and becomes a member. So it's a simple, very simple thing. In this example, you might have got the idea. This person, so what type of person is this? He is a person who hangs out too much along with his friends. So, so this is the basic target audience. As I always say, the target audience. What type of target audiences are there? So this sentence will provide us this type of Zomato Gold is for this type of people who hang out more. Even I have got Zomato Gold membership, but I have not used even once, and I think it's almost more than an year. I do have a Zomato Gold membership, not ever used even once. It's just merely a waste of money for me. So, so this type of Zomato, this type of people like Tim, the Zomato Gold is for them. This is a simple idea. So that is a storyboard. If I want to make an app, I have to make a storyboard. So if I just present the storyboard to a customer, by seeing the storyboard, he can understand that, okay, what is this all about? Okay. So that is storyboard. Another important parts in UX design. Another thing is card sorting. This is the card sorting example. What I have taken here is of my own work over here. And this card sorting is not done by me. It has been done by someone else, my colleague. So what is card sorting is, so I have to take up whole thing, whole app. I have to write it down and I have to just mix it up and put it up. So, what are the important parts? This, acha, before that, I'll just say this is a app for job opportunities. What I was designing. So, this is a app for job opportunities. So, what are the important parts? Login part is there. Profile tab will be there. Tab bar has to be there in every app. Tab bar is very much important. The below part, the tabs which will be I'll just show you later on. Forums, what different forums and career tabs will be there. These are the five important tabs of mine. In that, all these things has to be added. So now what we do is we call for 5 to 7 people 3 4 times, and we just put all these papers in front of them. Sort it out according to you. You tell us what has to be added in which part, and being a customer, what do you want in these things. So this one of my friend has added here. So in login part, mobile, email, and OTP. These are enough, not more than that, making user experience simple. So in profile part, add photo, add your skills, add experience, and upload your resume. Add your social links like LinkedIn and all, and add references and add location and address of yours. So these are and in tab bar, dashboard will be there. Profile part, careers, and all has to be there. In forums are nothing but different. I was designing for technical forums over here. So if UX design is a separate, I am a UX designer, I can have a separate forum for me so that I can post my question in that and I can get feedbacks from experts. That was the whole idea. So what they are forums, post a question, active forums. So these were her idea of putting only these much things in forum tab and career tab. Only in career tab you just provide job opportunities. That will be enough. So not to make the things too much complex for the customers. If you just add each and everything in the app, then people will become less interested. So just now people are criticizing Facebook. As you can see, you just go earlier days, Facebook was so delighted. Everybody wanted to use Facebook, but nowadays Facebook has become too much chaotic. They are, whatever comes to their mind, they are adding each and everything, and user experience is becoming bit tedious nowadays in Facebook. So a lot of criticism Facebook is facing right now. And few days back there was an update in Instagram. Many features of Facebooks were added to Instagram, and again people started criticizing that Zuckerberg is making Instagram similar to Facebook, and if the same thing goes on, nobody will be using Instagram anymore. So because basically Instagram is famous than Facebook. Why? Because the user experience is very simple, and people know what has to be done in Instagram. They only want either photographs or videos to share with their friends. That's it, nothing other than that. Not more than, or not less than anything else. So they don't want anything other than that. They are very happy with that. So making the user experience complex, if you go on adding more and more and more and more stuff into the app, no one will use. Make it as simple as possible, as specific as possible. That is done by card sorting. And the beautiful thing is, card sorting is not done by the designer, but it is done by the customers itself. You have to call random people, invite them to your studio, and ask them, explain them about the concept, and give them your what are the sticky notes. That's the only thing. Once the sticky note is there, they will think about it and they will put it everything accordingly. So you can compare what other people, if you have got 7 people, 7 people have got 7 thoughts. You can prioritize what maximum people wants and what is the less priority, and a prioritization can be done easily in your app. So what is the highest priority? You have to consider it. Lower priority, you can even reject it if you don't want it in your app. So all these things are helpful for user research. Once the user research is there, the next step is put it on paper. And how I am going to put it on paper? I am going to put it on paper using wireframes. So as you can see here, these are low fidelity wireframes as the examples what we have taken over here. Draw. The first thing what user experience designer has to do is put it on paper. Whatever comes to you, after all the research, with the research findings, take those things and put it on paper and design everything. How my structure has to look. So here, see, you can, as you can see here, he has designed a login page here. So here interactive screens have been designed. So how my design has to look, need not, every details is not to be added here. See, location map is he is adding. So all details are not added, just a rough sketch is required. Once the rough sketch is done, you take those rough sketches, sit on use any of a tool and put it on computer. So that will become your high fidelity. Using that high fidelity, convert that, giving all my job is to make that wireframes as a UX designer. After making that wireframes, I have to give it to the UI designer. He will design, he will beautify. So basically, wireframes are the skeleton of your app. So whatever you put it on a wireframe, a designer is going to exactly do the same. He will not think about anything. Whatever a UX designer has given, the same thing he will be putting, beautifying, start working on how to beautify it. The user UI designer has not to think about much. So before giving it to the UI designer, it is my job being a UX designer to see that all things are appropriate, all research has been done, and my app is ready to go for designing aspect. Okay, so once I get for UI designer, my job is to see what color psychology has to be done, what is the iconography, what is the typography and all. So for example, so see, color psychology, we have got different articles, I've chosen one particular article. See, so this is a survey done. What are the different colors people like? Men and women. So as you can see, men like, 57% of men like blue color. Most hated one is yellow among men, and among women, it is also blue color, which is 35%, and most hated one is white color. It seems. So this is, so colors have got impact. So when you say, see. Depends on the product also. So what type of product is there? Based on that, we go for the colors. Normally, black color is used in this type of thing, watches and all. Where a strong approach is, presentation is there. So you can see ads of cars and all. So normally they go for black color. So as I already said, whenever it comes to food and all, a red color is used, as you can see in the logo of McDonald's and all. So red color is used appropriately. All the food stuffs and all normally we go for red colors. Here, this is Starbucks website. They have used a shade of red or pink. Blue color is considered to give emotions such as trust, safe, relaxation, and all. So normally travel log people, if you just see, so they normally go for blue color. So pink is a feminist color, like everybody knows. It is the color gives a sensibility of playfulness and joy. So normally you just go with Nika or any other woman-centered apps and website. They normally go for shades of pink. So this is a black color, as you can see. This is one of the, so black color is one of the most desired colors among all colors. So strongest colors in the whole spectrum. So there is a saying, people often say everything looks cool in black. So we have to think of, whether what color I have to use. Is it appropriate here? When to use the red color and when to use green? Normally, if you just see, whenever the atmospheric or environmental stuffs are there, normally we go with green color. So there are different color psychologies available. So based on them, we have to design, being a UI designer. So now the job of a UX designer has ended. So it's a job of a UI designer to select a color appropriately. So based on that, I can move forward. So next is iconography. Icons. Icons are also one of the most important part. See, these are icons. Earlier days, these type of icons, I hope you people have seen these icons in your desktop, Windows desktops. So the icons will show us what is inside. If I have a button, I know by default that home button leads to home page. Okay, so that is quite a sensible thing. So as you can see here, see, this is a bed is there. It is bedroom, living room, kitchen, bathroom, kids room, and dining room. So these icons will show you by themselves what they are. They give the sensitiveness to the users. Okay, what is happening if I press that particular button, what will happen next? So here a person has pressed bedroom. So what is the temperature of a bedroom, and all the things has come over here, details have come over here. So icons play a very crucial role.
Excuse me, Ameen sir.
Hello.
Sorry for interruption.
Yeah.
We can't see the slide.
Yes, Salman.
So I'm not able to see the slides. It is stuck to the color psychology slide only.
Now,
No.
can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see the screen, but the like from past 10 minutes, it is on the color psychology slide only. I think we need to stop and reshare it again or what.
Now, is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Now,
You can change the slide. Good.
what about now?
No, on, no, onto the same slide. Color psychology.
Okay. I don't know what the problem is, but it's not permitting me to move from this particular slide. Anyways, so iconography is also one of the important part of UI design. The next is typography. See, typography is all about fonts. What type of different fonts I'm supposed to use, and which fonts look elegant on my design. So that is purely, there is no particular concept, or there is no particular theory, or there is no particular formula to what color has to be used, what icons has to, how the icon structure has to be used, and what is the typography you have to use. It is all based on the thinking and understanding of the designer itself. So designer has to see that, okay, how what type of colors and icons and typographies I have to use. So that is purely based on your what I say, the UI designer itself. So once all has been done, selected, so you have to implement it using the tools. So the tools are the most important stuffs. So what I can say, there are different types of tools in UI and UX design. So I have bifurcated those tools into three different types. One is design tools, prototyping tools, and auxiliary tools. So let us discuss about them. What are design tools? So design tools are Sketch, Figma, Adobe XD, and InVision Studio. These are the different design tools available. If you if you ask me, sketch about
Ameen bhai, sorry to interrupt you. I request all the participants to keep yourself on mute, please, to avoid disturbance in the session. Jazakallah. Thank you.
thank you.
Yes,
So
Ameen bhai, continue.
yeah, sir. So if you ask me about Sketch, Sketch is a good app. See, all the four apps what I have selected over here, they all are good. Basic aesthetics of all them will be same. Basics of if you use one app, one application among these four, it is automatically understood that you will be able to use the others also, because the basic concept of everyone here, user experience will be same everywhere. But only thing is whichever is feasible for me. So normally if you ask me about Sketch, Sketch is a app which is only available for Mac users. That is the biggest disadvantage of Sketch. And second thing, the second disadvantage of Sketch is it is not a free version. Only 15 days or 1 month free trial you will get, and after that you have to pay. So that is why normally people won't like Sketch that much. So if you don't have a MacBook, you cannot run it, and even if you have a MacBook, you cannot run it for free. You have to purchase it. So the disadvantages of Sketch. Adobe XD is a very beautiful app. At least it is free also for a single user. If it is for enterprise, you will be charged. But for a single user, it is a free app. InVision Studio is also a free app, and Figma is also a free app. But if you are collaborating with your designers, if you are collaborating with other designers, I prefer Figma. And not only myself, all the designers right now throughout the globe prefer Figma, because it has got very beautiful collaboration property. So you can collaborate with other designers very easily on a single project. 2 to 3 designers can work together, and moreover, this you need not to download the app also. If you download it, very good. Otherwise, you can run this app through a browser also. So there is no need of any specific software requirement for this particular Figma app to run. This can run on any browser. Figma can run on any browser easily. So on the browser itself, you can do all your work and save your work on cloud, and 2 3 designers can work at the same time. As you can see, in gaming and all, like PUBG, 50 people will all work together, and you can see everybody. So likewise in Figma also, you can see the scrollers. Every designer will have a specific color and a name. So all the scrolls will be moving on. Whatever the changes will be there, and then those changes will be done, and everybody will be able to see that what change has been done in the design and who has done that particular change. So this is a very beautiful thing what Figma is providing, and till now, by November 2020, no other application is providing this type of facility. So the maybe in future, Adobe also has added collaboration, but that is limited to only you can collaborate with them. So but the interface is not that much better like Figma right now. Maybe in future it may change. So there are designing tools. So we design the wireframes here, we do the coloring and all. So can you see my screen? Okay, I don't know what's the problem here, but it is not allowing me to go to another screen. So another type of tools are prototyping tools. So in prototyping tools, we have got 2 different types. I have forgotten. One is basic prototyping tools, and another is advanced prototyping tools. Prototyping is basically, once you design an app, it will show you how the interaction will take place. If I press a button, it has to move to the another screen. So it is something like showing the customers that how your app works. It is not actually a design, but it is just a prototyping what we make, what we design. So basic prototyping can be done by Sketch, Figma, Adobe XD, and InVision Studio also, but that will be limited. The designing tools will be limited, but advanced prototyping tools like Principle, Prototype, Framer, and Origami, so you can design, you can prototype in so beautiful fashion that a customer or will be confused that it is an actual product. So that much beautifulness is there in advanced prototyping tools. So of course, basic prototyping tools, prototyping levels will be limited. Here you can design in such a way that it can be, it looks very lively in advanced prototyping tools. A Framer is there. Earlier Framer was with coding, but nowadays they have done with advanced things, so that it will be easier for us to it will be easier for us to use the app also. So If you want to learn prototyping, these are the tools for you. And there are auxiliary tools like Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, After Effects, Cinema 3D, and Blender. Illustrator, you want if you want illustrations, you have got Illustrator. If you have got too many photos to edit, you can have Photoshop. If you want animations to add in your app or website, you can have Adobe After Effects, Cinema 4D. You want a movie to incorporate, you have Blender and Cinema 4D and all. So there are so many tools, design tools, auxiliary tools, and prototyping tools. What to learn is the major question. So my answer here is learn any one amongst each category. Here, four categories are there. Either learn Adobe XD or Figma, it will be enough. Here, either learn principal, prototype, or framer or origami. My favorite is origami over here. And auxiliary tools, it depends on your requirement. If you want illustrations, you can learn Illustrator or Adobe Photoshop or Adobe After Effects. So any one tool among each and every one, if you will learn, it will be enough to survive in the market also. So design inspiration. So how, from where can I get design inspiration? These are different websites. We have got Dribble. In Dribble is what we can see, Instagram of designers, we can say. So all the designers, what they do, they put their work on Dribble. So if you want good design concepts, you can go for Dribble. Behance is there. Behance is nothing but a Facebook for a designer. So all our work will be, as soon as I do some of my designs, I will put it on Behance, so that everyone can see, and they can comment on it, and we can share our experiences. Awards is one among the apps where very good designs will be available. Mostly is a design search, it's a search engine. Mostly is a search engine for designers. So all the designing concepts, you can search it in Moozly. A Medium is there where different articles will be available. In design, in Medium, it's not only for designers, it's for each and everybody. So we can get design experience from any of it. So design inspiration on Instagram. These are my favorite Instagram people who share their knowledge through Instagram. Ismail Al Azizi is there. Ismail Ben Barak, he is from Canada. Faizur Rahman is there, and Saptarshi Prakash is there. These are very good Instagrammers. I want to add one thing. I had some confusion in neomorphic design. So Ismail Ben Barak, Easy Designs, Easy Design Ideas. This person, mashallah, I just messaged him on Instagram that I am not getting the concept of neomorphism. Can you please explain me? So within a couple of days, he made a complete video of neomorphic design, and he shared me. So they are so good people over there. They are ready to help, and I have shared his video on my LinkedIn also. So they are very good human beings also. They're very helpful, and their design experiences, they share their design experiences through their Instagram. And you can also get design inspiration on YouTube. My favorites of all I have selected here. It's Saptarshri Prakash, Puneet Chawla, Jesse Showalter is there, Danny Dumont, Exopixel. These are all YouTube channels I have. What normally I get inspiration from them, I have used over here. So anybody who wants to, Saptarshri Prakash, I want to say he is a self-taught designer. He is a self-taught designer. He himself has learned design without going to any design school. He has learned designing, and he is now teaching design through his YouTube channel. A very beautiful, and he has got a very unique style and way of presenting. So as Jesse Showalter, he is also have a very unique way of presenting the design concepts. So you can log on to these YouTube channels. You can subscribe them, and you can learn a lot. I can guarantee you, you can learn a lot from them. So job opportunities goes like this. This is for UI designer, basic UI, junior UI designer will be there. Then based on experiences, this can move forward. Visual designer. Then comes the senior visual designer, UI UX designer, creative head is there, product is a product head. So these are the different positions what we can get in UI design, and these are the job opportunities. And UX design, you can be a UX researcher, UX strategist, information architect, product designer, interaction designer, UX analyst, UX product designer, and UX journalist, UX director. So these are the different aspects. So the salary range I have added here, it's purely based on the experience. So basically, 35 was earlier, but now the pandemic is going on and all. So the salaries has been reduced currently, but the situation is not that much bad. Also, design UI UX design is one of the most sorted out uh, technology currently aware. Um, People are looking for. Earlier days, if you just go back 5 years back, nobody in India, nobody was searching for UX designer. Basically, to be frank, so UI only, very few companies were there who are actually looking for UI designers. But nowadays, awareness is there in India also, and there are many opportunities available right now. If anybody wants to explore this field, it's a very good field for them. But to the only condition is to have creativeness. If one is not creative enough, he will not survive in the market of design. So thank you all. This is my contact details. You can mail me if you have any queries, or you can contact me on LinkedIn and Instagram. So I'll be happy to help. Like, I have got help from Ismail. He lives in Canada, but I just messaged DM him once on Instagram. He very quickly he replied, and he helped me out in neomorphic designs and all. So likewise, I will also be happy if any designer is there. So I'll be happy to help anything from my side. So I'll be happy to help. So also we take up I run an access program called in which I help the students to do some courses. We have got course on modern web development. Modern web development, we teach HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. And mobile development, we go with React Native. And also, we are planning to start a course on UI UX design also. So, any help from my side and my team, I am happy to help. So, any queries are there? I am ready to take the questions right now. Before that, yesterday I got a message from Mr. Nazir. He is a CEO and MD of Nexus Info. He just messaged DM me that he is open for interns in design. If anybody are interested in design, you can contact me. I can see that I can help you with your internships with Mr. Nazir. He is the CEO and MD of Nexus Info. He has given me his information. All the contact details are there with me. If anybody is interested to do internship in his company, I will be happy to help. I hope Mr. Nazir is there in the session also. He told me that he will be. Are you, sir? He might not be. So if any questions are there, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions, or you can put forth your questions in the chat box also.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, this is Syed here. Actually, I'm a Java developer and I have around 2 years experience right now.
Okay.
But my field of interest lies in UI UX designing. I have been learning Adobe XD and then Sketch as well.
Okay.
But what I find is not the right job opportunities in India, because I applied for few jobs and they were just editing in Photoshop, like just removing the backgrounds and all those things. So can you suggest me good places where I can apply for UI UX designers?
Sure. I just wanted to ask you one thing. If you can share me your portfolio, I'll be much happy to help, in a better fashion. So, have you
Okay, sir.
created your portfolio?
Actually, I had created on Behance.
Okay, how many projects do you have on Behance?
Around 2 to 3, sir.
Okay, okay. If you share me, I think
Mm.
I'll try my level best to help you out.
Yeah, because I've not done any course. It's my field of interest, and I've been learning by myself.
See, say the Brar Saab.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
design is such a field that your work speaks here, not your certificate.
Correct. Correct.
And if you can just see me, I myself, I am I'm from electrical background, electrical engineer. I have
Okay.
shifted
Okay.
my domain to UI and UX.
Mm.
Okay,
Because no, sir, it's been around 2 years, and I've been doing this coding and all, but I don't feel I'm satisfied with what I'm doing right now,
okay.
because my field of interest is pulling towards something else, that is designing UI UX. Because in college days also I was designing head, and I used to take care of all those stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I can
So
understand that. So, sir, nowadays competitiveness is very high. As I told you
yes,
earlier, also in India there was not much awareness about UI UX design earlier, but nowadays there is awareness and there are openings. But you have to find your way in the flow. That is the most important thing. So, please share me your portfolio with me.
sure,
I'll
sir.
see that, if possible, as far as possible I can help. If I can help you, I can help you out. If you want to do internship with Nexus Info, just give it a try. Okay.
Yeah, sir, I'll try that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'll ping you the same the number what we had got a message saying about the meeting. Same number,
No,
is it?
right now the screen is there on the board, and my
Okay,
email ID,
I'll
my
mail.
LinkedIn, and
Yeah,
my
yeah, I'll
Instagram is
mail.
there.
Yeah, yeah, I'll mail there, or I'll ping you on Instagram.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Jazakallah.
Thank you. Jazakallah. Tajammul sir says that Zeppelin is a platform used to share your design with other developers and managers. In Zeppelin, you can't edit design, but you can download assets like image. Okay, what? Acha, he has given the answer. What is the use of Zeppelin? Okay. Anybody else?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, sir.
Yeah, I'm working as a UI developer from past 2.5 years. My total experience is almost 4 years, but how much I try, I'm a bit bad at the UI design. I don't have much knowledge on UX,
Okay.
but to be a full stack developer, all those things are must needed. So, how should I proceed with the UI, like becoming a designer
UI
specifically
design
onto
is
UI?
something different, and UI developer is something different. And may I ask on what technology? Is it Angular or React you have working on?
I'm working on Angular from past 2 years.
Working on Angular. Okay. So front end developer is different and front end designer is different. So design to be a full stack developer, there is no need of learning any design concepts. If you want to become a full stack developer, I think Tajammul is here along with us. He can give a better answer for you. Tajammul?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Can you please answer?
Uh, yes. So yeah, as Amin sir said, like we don't require exactly a knowledge of designing, like designing websites or products, to be a full stack developer. But if you have like we call it as something known as design principles. Whenever you are developing, for example, what happens is, as Amin sir mentioned in one of the slides, was like if you want to develop a product, and if you want to develop that product for both Android and iOS, both have different guidelines. Similar in like as in development as well, even if you're working on a front end or on a mobile, they have like a different guidelines. That is like we have like complete what you call as a complete distinction between a design and development. But on development, if you want to, you are passionate about like designing, then you have to go with something known as design principles, not in this thing. So if you want to switch your career into design, then what I mean is saying holds good, I guess. Yeah.
Hope we have answered your question. Anybody else?
Yes, sir. Actually, I had like one question. You mentioned wireframing. So I just wanted to know like whether wireframing is a part of a UX or it is like an element of UI.
It is a
Because
purely a part of UX design.
okay, right.
Designer, along with all his research and surveys and all, he write down his design findings, And based on those findings, a UX designer has to make a wireframe. And once he makes a wireframe, that wireframe has to be given to the UI designer so that he can beautify it. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Jazakallah.
All thinking process all left to UX designer.
Correct.
So anybody else have any doubts, sir?
Assalamualaikum, sir. My name is Faizan. I'm a student of yours. I have a quick question that, sir, you talked about color physiology, iconography, and typography. And you said that it's totally dependent and it depends on the UI designer, how he thinks and understands these color palettes and how to manage with these icons,
Yeah.
this typography, sans or serif, and how to add images and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I want to know how you think and how you understand as a designer, how you use these colors and icons and typo
I
and stuff.
wanted to show you some example, but I don't know what's the problem. My screen, it's restricting me. My the Zoom is restricting me from sharing other slides. I don't know what's the problem. Otherwise, I would have shown you some of my work, what I have done. I have made it everything ready with it. So see, what the major thing is the concept. Every concept is different. So based on the concept, a person has to think about what to add and how to add. So as I told you, I have shared a few days back. I have shared a post on LinkedIn. Okay, what are the different fonts has to be selected on if for Android and for iOS. So there are guidelines are available. Material design guidelines are there for Android, and iOS guidelines are there for Mac. So there, the font styles will be different. In serif or in sans itself, there are different fonts, but one font can't be used in the another one. Okay, so those guidelines has to be taken into consideration. For example, Roboto is there. Roboto is a font which is only normally used in Android. No, you cannot find Roboto in iOS designs. I have not find any designer who has used Roboto in iOS. Whereas there is a font called as SF. Uh, SF Sans Serif Display Pro, SF Display Pro. This is purely iOS font. So only iOS people will use it. So these guidelines will be there. These guidelines will help you a lot. Another thing what will be helpful for you is you will be having UI kits with you. Even material design also provide UI kits, and also iOS also provides UI kits. Those UI kits will also give you some idea about how the designing things should be go. So now earlier days buttons and all, you designer has to use the buttons, design the buttons and all. But nowadays those buttons are already available in UI kit, and all you got to do is fetch the buttons from there. But the color psychology you have to think. And as you said, how do you think? I think based on the product. Every product, based on the requirement of the product, the thinking changes. So I cannot have a same thinking for product for social media design and the same thinking for an e-commerce design. So I have to think. I know the basic thing is I have to keep myself in the customer's shoes, and then I can when I think, the ideas will pop up in your head. So that's what it's all depends on your thinking and how will you take the things to forward. Anything? I hope I have answered the question. So most probably when we meet together, we can discuss more about it, Faizan.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It was really helpful.
Alaikum assalam. Yes, Rahman sir.
This is Muhammad Ramin, attending your class from Warangal.
Oh,
So
mashallah,
just
very nice.
yeah, thank you very much for sharing your knowledge and all preferences, everything. And really,
Welcome, my
may
friend.
Allah reward you for the same. And it will be continuous reward for you until we use your knowledge in our life. It will be rewarded every day and every second, inshallah.
Jazakallah.
Thank you. Just sir, this is whatever you explained. This all design centered knowledge. So I just mm, uh, request you anything UI developer side. If you have in future any sessions, please share me
Sure, sir. Sure,
so I
sir.
can
We are
attend.
planning to have a session on full stack development. Maybe
Great,
next week, I think we will have it,
inshallah.
or we will inform you no, by Abdullah. We will mail you, inshallah. We have already got your credentials. I
Yes,
hope you
yes,
have
yes.
registered, no?
Yes, yes, I registered. Actually, I'm actually I have a very long experience in designing and development, but this UI UX, this terminology started, and things are divided into different categories. So this area I want to know, and in both, I mean, in designing area also and in development area also.
Sure, sure, sir. Sure, sir. So we will share you the details. Maybe probably next week, Bhai Salman and Tajammul will take up a session on full stack development. So
Okay,
we will just
great.
send you the invite, inshallah.
Thank you very much, sir. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khairan.
So any other questions are there? Otherwise, we will wind up the session.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Taha sir.
Yeah, hi. I actually have three questions for you. My first question is there is a latest software edition for development and design of the UI called Webflow. So I just wanted to know if you have encountered like
Webflow nowadays, Webflow is incorporated in design, plugins like a plugin itself. So
oh,
Figma already gives you, from long back it gives you all CSS codes and all. So the Webflow can be incorporated with design concepts and can be used. That's not a major problem nowadays. Another thing is I just gone through one specific application called as UiZard. UiZard is basically an design development artificial intelligence application. In that, all you have to do is you have to just draw a sketch with your hand and you have to just scan it. The application itself will capture the wireframe from your paper, and then it will convert that wireframe into UI design. And in UI design, you have to do the changes, and that UI design will convert. It will in the development. It will take that to the development stage also. So
oh.
lot of the work is going on here, and in future days, I think all these design tools will get obsolete. You have to directly you draw the wireframe, directly send it to the development stage. That they will very soon it may come.
Yeah, it's gonna be automated, I feel too.
Yeah, yeah. It is already UiZard is a very good example for that.
Okay, I didn't know about that. Thanks for the information. I have one more question, which is, the UI guidelines are different. Like there is material design guideline, and there
Yes,
is for Apple there is human interface guidelines. So
yes.
I just wanted to know, because going through all these texts on their website is a little lengthy process. If there is someone on YouTube or probably a video where someone explains this in any edition of, because these keeps on upgrading the versions, right? So there are different versions of designs and different guidelines. So if there is any video of that, or a person that explains this on a video and not in a written format.
Uh, Actually, I'm a person kind of into reading type of person. I have not gone through such type of process, videos.
Yeah,
If I
that's a
get this,
problem which I'm facing as a designer, because for me because it's new, so reading everything, and then I have to, like, I have already started doing it, so I am
okay,
taking notes for everything, like tab bar, and making my own
okay,
what do you say, set of notes for, or guidelines for how
okay.
to follow it. But I feel if some professional, somebody who's a professional in this field, if they could make they have made a video or something, then
Right
probably
now, I
that would
don't
have
know.
solved my idea.
Uh, right now, I don't know anybody who has done a video on this. If you go with Adobe, if you open Adobe, On the right side upwards, the bar will be there called as community. If you
Okay.
just press that, it will lead to the YouTube channel of Adobe. We can search
Hmm.
it in that. I know if possible, we may get some information about it.
I have tried. There is I think two people who have made a video on this, but it's not very informative to the point. It's
Okay,
a little vague.
okay,
That's
okay,
what I felt. Okay. So, and there's one more doubt which I have. This is regarding the UX process.
okay.
So there's something called journey mapping.
Yeah, journey
Um,
mapping is there.
yeah. So, could you like put some light on the topic journey mapping?
Actually,
Because
I wanted to incorporate. Already, I had the slide of journey mapping with me, but I deleted that map because for a fresh audience, it will be too much of a high level. That's it.
okay, okay, okay.
But I just described a few basics of it. Journey mapping is nothing but putting yourself into the customer's shoes and chopping out all the process from entice to the exit. So
Okay.
describing each and everything, what the customer will face and how the stages will be there, all those things, defining it and putting it in a complete flow and presenting it, that is journey mapping. So
So
I
this,
had taken example of Zomato and I have added it in the slide also, and later on I deleted because for new audience it will be offer too much of a high level.
yeah. So
You can
basically, it's
refer Medium. You can refer article in Medium of Zomato. So the very beautifully they have explained the whole UX process. You will get a very pretty much very great good idea about the journey mapping and all other UX process also.
okay. Okay, yeah. So that's all I wanted to ask, and I have sent you a request on LinkedIn. Please
Yeah, sure,
join it, and
sure, sure,
thanks,
sure.
thanks a lot, thanks a lot for the
Thank you, sir.
information. Allah Hafiz.
Bye. So we can take one more question and then we can say, call it a day. Amar? So thanks a lot. I was saying that no more questions. Thanks a lot, MFIRD, for giving me the opportunity to share some of the stuff. So, mashallah, you people are doing really great, and I wish that in future also we can have a lot of discussions and we can share more. We can go with a more depth things also. So at the end, I wanted to ask, if you have any doubts in future also, Alhamdulillah, I'm happy to help. And if anybody wants an internship in Nexus Info, you can DM me. We will be happy to help you all. Also, as I said, we take up courses on React and React Native, both front end and back end, and also we are planning to start a design UI UX design beginners course also. So if anybody is interested, you can please DM me. And any kind of help, not only this, any other type of help also, they are happy to help. And mashallah, whole MFIRD team is very diligent, and they are very keen towards helping the community and making the country a better place for everyone. So thank you, mashallah, jazakumullah khair wa ahsan al jazaa'u khairan kaseera. So I'll be ending the session. Thanks a lot.